everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right folks, so for this video I'm going to be unboxing and reviewing the 4K picture for my latest 4K pickup that I got for Phantoms. Am I seriously sitting here and holding Phantoms on 4K? Never in my wildest dreams did I think this would ever get the 4K treatment, and all the credit in the world has to go to Scream Factory for doing this for us. It's one thing to give us the movie on 4K, which looks fantastic, I might add, which I'll get into more now very, very soon. But there is a few special features on this. It also comes with a nice slipcover. I'll be taking this around it very soon. So fair play to Scream Factory for doing this, because this movie came out in the 90s. It flew completely under the radar. Not many people knew about it. I was a huge fan right from the get-go. And to see Scream Factory dig out movies like this and giving them this kind of treatment, I think is absolutely incredible. So yes, thank you again Scream Factory for this. Now before I get on with the video, I just want to do a big shout out to the lads over at HD Movie Source for sending this my way, Carl and Mark. This is such a massive deal. I am such a fan of this movie. And if it wasn't for yous, I wouldn't be holding it in my hands right now. So thank you again, lads. And what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to leave a link in the description below to their website. And if you're interested in American titles like this, I recommend going over there. And if you do see something that you might want, you'll notice like there's a promotion code. Type in Euphoria and you'll get a certain percentage off your order. So Carl and Mark, thank you again. This is massive. It really is. Now, Phantoms, this is based on a novel by Dean Koontz, directed by Joe Chappelle. As a matter of fact, I only just watched another horror movie by Joe Chappelle. It's kind of like a slasher movie called Detox, which stars Sylvester Stallone. I know it sounds strange, a slasher movie starring Sylvester Stallone, but it really is. That's exactly what Detox is. And again, another one of those movies that kind of flew under the radar, much like Phantoms. And I highly recommend checking that one out as well. But like I said, Joe Chappelle has done a wonderful job in this movie. He put a great cast together. You got the likes of Ben Affleck, Rose McGowan, Peter O'Toole is in there as well, Joanna Going and Liv Schreiber. And all five of them put in great performances as well. If you're not particularly aware of the movie, I'm going to try and describe it as best as I can. I'm absolutely no good at this, but look, I'm going to give it a go. It's basically about these two sisters. They're moving to this small town. That's Rose McGowan and Joanna Going. They're moving to this small town. They get to the town. They realise quite quickly that all the residents have completely vanished. And upon investigation, they realise that there's this entity in this town called the Ancient Enemy. And it's that entity that's responsible for all the disappearances of the residents. Now, it's a movie of two halves. The first half drips atmosphere, and I am not kidding. There is just so much atmosphere to it. Just so tension-filled. It actually feels like a Silent Hill game. But then the second half of the movie, when the military come into it, it feels very, very differently. All of a sudden, you don't have that atmosphere. It's there, but it's not as plentiful. And the second half becomes all about, okay, we know what this is now. How are we going to defeat it? Now, take nothing away from the second half. It is still highly enjoyable, but nothing near as good as the first. Now, I'm not going to say anything more about the movie. There's a bit more to it when it comes to the Ancient Enemy, but I do not want to spoil it for you. And like I said, if you're big into your small town horror movies, I honestly cannot recommend Phantoms enough. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by it. Now, in terms of special features, it is not jam-packed, but you know what? I am okay with that. To get one feature for this movie is quite special. And there is a few on there. You do get a making of Phantoms. There's 2 interviews from the producer and director of photography. And I think there's a featurette as well. Like I said, not jam-packed. But I'm looking forward to checking out the making of this movie. Right, folks, so I'm going to take you around this release. I'm going to give you a close look at it. And then I'm going to come back and review its 4K picture. So, yeah, let's get to it. Right, so here we go. Phantoms. So naturally, there is a slipcover with it. As you can see, there's not much going on in terms of the artwork. There is something very eerie about it. You've got the town on the left and the right hand side. You've got this beam of light coming up from the title of the movie. I presume that's representing the Ancient Enemy. And then right above it, it says, "For centuries they told us the terror would come from above. We've been looking the wrong way." So yes, a little insight into what's going on in this movie. Again, I'm not going to say anything more about it. So it is a 4K and Blu-ray release. So that's everything in terms of the artwork. I'll take us on to the spine of this one. And you'll notice you see the town again on the spine of it. And then right around to the back. So naturally on top, you've got a write-up of this movie. You got the special features in the middle. You got the credits as well at the bottom. And some technical information as well. So if you do want to pause it and check it out, by all means do so. So that is the slipcover itself. The spines are the exact same. So I will open it up. And as you can see, it's the exact same artwork on the Blu-ray. Now, unfortunately, there is no reversible artwork on this. Screen Factory can be very, very selective when it comes to alternate artwork. So I'm not going to spend too much time with it. So I will open it up. And you are greeted to your Blu-ray disc on the left-hand side. And then, of course, your 4K disc on the right-hand side. And as you can see, you've got different disc artwork, which is always great to see. So there you have it, folks. Just a quick look at this release of Phantoms. Right, so on to the 4K transfer. So like I said at the start of this video, it does look beautiful. Now bear in mind, folks, it's not going to be the best 4K transfer you're ever likely to see. But the fact that we only got a DVD release of it, you know, I'm not going to complain too much when it comes to its 4K transfer. Now with that said, the one thing that was quite evident from the get-go is the grain structure on this one. Now, I'm not saying that it's incredibly heavy, but it's not particularly fine either. It is somewhere in the middle. Now, I'm not quite sure how grain haters are going to feel about that. But the one thing I will say about the grain structure is it is beautifully consistent and it never fluctuates whatsoever. Now, another thing to bear in mind when it comes to this movie, folks, is 90% of it is shrouded in darkness. And even with that 10% that's held out in daylight, the Dolby Vision HDR colours don't drastically change things there. You know, you're not going to be seeing this incredibly vibrant colours because that 10% that's held in daylight, it does have this kind of overcast look to it. But the one thing that the Dolby Vision and HDR do bring to it is a certain stability to those colours. Everything has a more natural look to it. So like I said, 90% of this movie is shrouded in darkness. So naturally, you want to see those beautifully deep blacks that we come to expect with 4K and horror titles. And I'm happy to say the black levels look absolutely astonishing on this one. They do add an increased level of depth to that picture. And I could not see any sign of black crushing going on whatsoever. And then when you throw in that increased shadow detail, I am not kidding, it makes the world of difference. It felt like I was watching this movie for the first time again. It looks absolutely beautiful. The picture is very sharp as we come to expect. There is a lot of fine detail to be seen there. It is on the usual suspects. Clothing and textures, interiors, exteriors of buildings, even on facial details as well. There's just a lot to marvel at, whether it's pores, creases, all that kind of stuff. It is a solid looking 4K transfer and it breathes new life into this movie, and I could not be happier with the results that we are getting here. Now it also comes with a DTS 5.1 audio. How I wish we got a Dolby Atmos soundtrack with this one because it lends well to Dolby Atmos. But having said that, the DTS 5.1 handles it beautifully. It is a horror movie. Surprise, surprise, it is quite active. Now, there's one scene that I do want to single out. I was so unbelievably impressed by it. There's a bit in this movie where they're in the sheriff's station. This creature gets in. It's flying around and they're shooting at it. Wait till you hear that. It is so impressive. The way that this thing flies seamlessly from one speaker to the other is quite beautiful. Now, it's not like, oh, it's in this speaker and then it jumps here. Like I said, it flows so beautifully into each speaker, going around in circles. And that scene was unbelievably convincing. It actually elevated that entire segment. So I highly recommend checking that one out. It's my highlight of that movie when it comes to its audio. Even the gunshots, they do pack a nice wallop to it. But like I said, it is a horror movie. There is going to be quite a lot of activity when it comes to your rear speakers there, so expect that. Not only that, but the dialogue is clean, it is centered, never gets drowned out, even by the heavier action sequences, and there's actually a lot in this movie. So all in all, it is a solid DTS 5.1 audio with an equally solid picture quality as well, and I couldn't be happier with the results. I really couldn't. And if you're a fan of this movie, I highly recommend checking out this 4K disc. So there you have it, folks. So as per usual, if you did like what you see here, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you could do, leave a comment down below. And if you have seen Phantoms, please do share your thoughts on it. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.